From The Australian, here's what's on the front. I'm Kristen Amiot. It's Monday, August 18, 2025. The government's hotly anticipated economic roundtable kicks off in Canberra on Monday. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said his focus is on lowering taxes and long-term reforms, while Treasurer Jim Chalmers said he and the PM are on the same page when it comes to boosting productivity and balancing the budget. Australians are worried about Donald Trump's tariff war, but China's military might, not so much. That's according to new data from Newspoll. The survey also suggests people are mostly happy with the performance of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, whose approval rating is back in positive territory for the first time since 2023. Those exclusive stories are live right now at theaustralian.com.au. What does it mean to be happy? And how can you be happier? According to the experts, and some of Australia's most iconic figures, it's actually astonishingly simple. Today, we're putting a smile on your dial with the Australians' new Happiness Project.
A, because I would never hand wash. Life is too short.
This is the Australian's Fiona Harari. She's a feature writer for the paper's health section, and she's got one of the best laughs in our Sydney newsroom.
C, coffee is a food group and sleep is optional. Or D, I try but the Tim Tams keep finding me.
Yeah, Tim Tams. But Tim Tams make you happy. Let's be honest, this is what it's all about.
Together, we're doing the Australian's Happiness Calculator. It's live now at theaustralian.com.au where you can try it for yourself.
Okay, click here for your happiness score. Ooh, your happiness score is 9.68, which is just over 3 points above the average Australian happiness score. So you got 9.68, I got 9.34. So
I'm a tiny bit happier than you.
Marginally happier than me. Tell me, what are your secrets?
Today, The Australian is launching the Happiness Project. It's a deep dive into what it means to be happy, how we can improve our happiness, and how it's linked to our health, wealth, and relationships.
And I have to say, every single person that I've mentioned this series to has smiled and said, what a lovely idea. So it's possibly reflective of the state of the world that we need some more happiness, but I'm just very happy that we're spreading it around.
I did the quiz on a day when it was bucketing with rain, when I had to call the bank, and when I'd run out of milk for my morning coffee. But I was pleasantly surprised to find that, soggy sneakers aside, I've got a lot to be happy about. Fiona does too.
Well, I hardly slept last night, and yet I'm apparently remarkably happy, so I'm very pleased to hear this.
Fiona's spoken to a handful of iconic Australians for the Happiness Project, starting with former Governor-General and Army Chief Sir Peter Cosgrove.
I wanted to talk to a range of well-known Australians from different backgrounds and different ages to understand what happiness meant to them. Do you have to reconfigure it as you get older? And are we making it too complicated? And I learned that, yes, in many cases we are making it too complicated, but really it's pretty obvious that if you have happiness in your life is just a lot better.
You spoke to people who are in a lot of different age groups. Did you find that they had vastly different views on happiness, or was there a common theme?
I've got 4 people that I've spoken to at length about happiness, and each story was quite different. The things that make them happy, what they still needed in their life, how they scored their life out of 10 in terms of happiness, what was lacking, and the different things that they had in their lives that gave them true happiness. And honestly, it's not rocket science. It's very often family, friends, a loving long-term partner, pets. The things that we know can enrich your life are the things that seem to bring the people in this series a lot of joy.
Coming up, what one of Australia's most eminent military figures knows about happiness. Long before he would become Australia's 28th Governor-General, Sir Peter Cosgrove witnessed the ravages of war in Vietnam where he was commander of a rifle platoon. He received a Military Cross for his service in 1971 and oversaw East Timor's transition to independence in the late 90s. Cosgrove was appointed Chief of Army in 2000 and later as the Chief of the Australian Defence Force. After a long and storied military career, he was appointed as Governor-General by former Prime Minister Tony Abbott in 2014. Now in his 70s, Sir Peter Cosgrove is, by his own account, one of the happiest blokes around.
So that's the sort of happiness that in my own life, kids, my military career, promotions, military missions that have gone well, opportunities which have made me think, how did I get here? That sort of thing has brought me to a stage where I'm content, and within that contentment, I'm pretty happy.
Here's Fiona Harari.
He just kept referring to his wife, Lynn, Lady Cosgrove, who he just adores, and talks about how lucky he is to have had such a loving long-term relationship, and that really is one of the keys to his enduring happiness.
When I first met that young woman, we were both young, I was so happy. I thought, I've found this wonderful person. I hope we can make a go of it, and we have.
They've lived in an astonishing 28 different homes over the course of their 49-year marriage. Obviously from Government House in Canberra to some less than salubrious digs around the world. And he says that every home they've lived in has been filled with love. She's been there for him, he's been there for her. That has given him great joy. And the reason I really wanted him in this series, and I was so grateful when he said yes, was that here is a man whose long career has ostensibly been in the military. He's had to send troops away to war. And I wondered, how do you find happiness in that situation? He's a remarkably chirpy, happy man at 78. And he said it is a mystery to him. It's not clear to him why he escaped being left with trauma in the way so many of his contemporaries have been. But he does say that having a loving relationship has been a really crucial part of cushioning some of the terrible things that he's had to see and do in his military career.
Spanning almost 2 decades, the Vietnam War was a deeply divisive conflict that caused huge rifts back home. Around 60,000 Australians served in Vietnam, where more than 500 were killed and thousands more were wounded. Many troops, most of them men, returned to Australia deeply traumatised, and some were shunned for answering the call of duty.
War is bleak. And one of the questions I asked him was, have you ever been in a situation where happiness seems to be absent? And automatically he said yes. During the Vietnam War, his team were about to be discharged. Their tour of duty was over and they're about to head home. And this should have been a joyous time for the men in his command. But at just before they returned home, one Australian military person killed another. And he said that was the occasion in his life where it was just utterly devoid of happiness. It was just a terrible time. Conversely, I asked him, have you found happiness in unexpected places? And he automatically said yes, in East Timor, when he was there around the time of independence. The joy and happiness that he saw on people's faces when, in fact, the help that they were promised was actually there and that life was going to be better was a beautiful thing to see. And he said also watching Australians rally together to help the locals was a really joyous thing.
And when we were getting on the ship, they were cheering us to the echo, were swarming us, patting us on the back. And I thought, this is wonderful because nobody else has got this moment at the moment. I'm the fellow who's just absolutely absorbing every moment. And I thought, this is probably the crowning event of my military career, and boy, was I happy.
You said that Peter Cosgrove and his wife have lived in all manner of places, many of them within Australia. He's been close to our communities, sometimes at really, really hard times for those communities. Does he think we're happy?
He thinks we're very happy. He was really happy to report that happiness was well and truly thriving out in the community. Just at really grassroots levels, the kindness that he sees in people and general contentment that he sees out there is a really lovely thing to hear about.
Fiona Harari is a feature writer with The Australian. You can check out the Happiness Project and calculate your happiness score right now at theaustralian.com.au.